widgets in WordPress allow you to add additional content and features to your website and are then displayed on the pages that you select them to be displayed on throughout your site. So in order to get into your widget area, you hover over the Appearance button, and that will bring up your widgets option. You click on that and you are then into your widgets page. You have a number of widgets that are running on the RBCT site. However, the one that you will be dealing with is the widget regarding the sliders on your website, because you have different sliders on different pages of your site, of the main menu area pages. So your sliders are held under the first top widget area, and you can see here that there are a number of different sliders, and each one of these links to one of the sliders on the front end of your website. So if we look at this one, it's the home page slider, and I will go through and show you how to edit that at a later point. And you can see that this particular widget, the slideshow widget, has been set up to only show on the front page of your website. Now if we look at other sliders, you'll see that this is the About Us slider, and this will have been set up to display on specific pages again under your About Us menu. And the same happens for all the different sliders. So if you go through the list yourself, you will see that you've got these various different sliders that are showing in your first top widget area. So if we go to the front end of your website, this is your home page slider, and the images in that slider, we will show you now how to access those. So to edit your sliders, you will go back into the dashboard of your website, and you will see that your slideshows are on the left hand menu, and here you will see the various sliders that you have. Now usually the home page slider wouldn't change that much in your industry, but the About Us might. You may have, for example, people within your management team, or you want to update who the newest achievers are in that link, and this is where you come to do that. You'll obviously need to create the correct image size to start with, and we'll deal with that in the GIMP videos in terms of image editing. But once you've got that image and it's created, this is where you're going to come to change it or to add it. So it's fairly simple to add a new image. As I've said, the most important thing is to get the right size when you create the image. And you can see here that your slider images are 1000 pixels wide by 350 pixels high. So if you want to remove an image from a particular slider, you simply hover over it and delete it, and it's gone. However, even though it's gone from there, until you save the slideshow over here, that change will not take effect. So you need to click on that to save that. If you then want to add a new slider into an image, you then go to Add Images over here, and you look in your media library for the particular image. You may have to upload it if it's a new image that you're uploading. But in this case, I'm looking for one that I deleted to put back. And there it is. Click on it, insert it into the slideshow, and you can see now it's there. If you want to change the position of the way in which the slides play out, you simply click and drag to where you want that slide to be. And then remember to save the slideshow. If you want to change how the slides transition at the moment they slide, you can change the effect over here from a crossfade back to the slide. And you can change the speed at which they slide or fade by changing the duration. Inserting videos into your WordPress website is a fairly simple process. It is conditional upon the video already being on YouTube. So if, for example, we wanted to take this particular RBCT video and add it to the website, we would go to the YouTube page on which that particular video is, and then we scroll down, and where it says share over there, we are looking for the embed code. So we click on that button and it will come up with an iframe tag. So we copy that, and we're now going to go back to the page on which we want to embed that video into. Now this is one of the more complex parts because you are going to have to go into the HTML for this. So how you do this for ease of use is to type the word video into the visual editor and then click on the HTML button, and then in that code look for the word video because that's where we want to place the video. Now we're going to delete it, and we are now going to paste that code that contained the iframe. And you can see here, this is going to generate a video where the width of the window is 560 pixels and the height is 315 pixels. So if we go back into visual now, we will see that that iframe is there. I've created a table for it, but we would possibly want that to be centralized, so we can click on the iframe, center it in that table, and now we want to see it on the front end, because even in visual mode, the iframe, you won't see the video. You'll only see it when you are actually looking at it through the front end of the website. So we go and have a look at that, and you will now see that the video that is actually on YouTube has now been embedded into your own website and can be played from within your own website. We can also then go and change the size of that video. If you're happy with the standard size that YouTube produces, which is this size, you can just leave it as is. But if you wanted to, for example, make that into a wider screen, you would then go back into the page where the iframe is. You're now going to go back to your HTML, and you can change the size of it by changing the width and the height. So let's say we want to make the height of this 450 pixels and we want to make the width 750 pixels. So if we then update the page and we go back to the front end and we refresh that page, you will now see that the video size is displayed at a new resolution. One of the other sections of the website that you may need to add to on the odd occasion is the FAQ section, the frequently asked questions. And you'll see on your website that if the questions are all there, and if you want to see the answer, you click on it and it then displays the answer for that. And if you click again, it takes it away, and so on and so forth. So how do you add new ones as they come along? If we go into the back end, you will see that in the visual editor, you've now got little scripts or lines of code within these brackets. And if you look at that, it tells you it's the question, where is RBCT situated? And then it closes off that question. And then there's a new bracket saying answer, and it gives you the answer, and then it closes off like that. So that would be one whole question and answer session. So if you get a new question and answer that needs to be added, the easiest way is to simply copy one whole section of question and answer, and then to add it in probably at the beginning. It's the least complicated. And then to change the question and answer. So I'm going to change this to, is this the question? And make the answer, yes it is, and here is the answer. So if we save that by updating and we go to the front end and we refresh that page, we'll now see that we have a new question. This is the question, and yes it is, and here is the answer. As simple as that. The last step is to learn how to add users who will also be able to update the website. So we hover over users over here on your left-hand menu, and we can go to all users to see who's currently there. And as you can see, it's one of us from Cybertech and Josie from Logico who have administrative access to make changes to the website. And we now want to add a new person, for example, from RBCT. So we just click on the Add New button at the top here, and we put the person's username in. So I'm just going to put the name in, and remember to keep the username lowercase, or the email address of that particular user, their first name and surname, and then obviously a password. And I would suggest something quite strong, and of course let the user know what the details are. So you click the Send Password button, and then you need to change that if you want to give them administrator access so they can make changes to the website, to administrator, and then click the Add New User button. And now you'll see that in this page is that new user.